Good morning, Tahmina Khan is here in TK Maths is Fun. In today's video, we will solve a past paper question on M1. The topic it is covering is Newton law, constant acceleration and momentum. It's a very good question. Part B is especially very challenging. So it's a part of the A-level mathematics syllabus. Code is 9709 and paper is 4. So paper I've taken from November 21, variant is 42. You can see here 3 QR codes. On my videos I have made on P3, S3 and M1. So you can scan it to watch more videos. So let's go to the question. So diagram is given to you here. I would like to say when you have these type of questions, please put all the forces on these diagrams so that you can apply it correctly. So I will show you here. I have drawn the diagram again with all the forces acting on it. So let's read the question. P and Q have masses m kg and 2 mkg. The particles are initially at rest and the distance between them is 6.4 meter. And angle alpha to the horizontal where sine alpha equals to 0.8. Now when this information is given to you, you can easily find out cos alpha also because it is needed in resolving forces definitely. Particle P is released from rest. Very important information. It means initial velocity of P will be 0. And it slides down the line of greatest slope simultaneously. At the same time, Q is projected up on the same line, right? This one. With the speed of 10 meter per second. And the surface is rough. So the coefficient of friction between the particle and the plane is 0.6. So like I said here in the third line, when you have sine alpha, you can easily calculate cos alpha, right? Because we know by the information cos SOHCAHTOA, sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So you can apply Pythagoras theorem and get the adjacent side. After that, I said draw the diagram to put all the forces in place. Now what happened, if you see here, this particle P which is here, because it has to go down, so of course maximum friction will be acting upward. So that's why I have drawn blue line, mu r up. This is the formula for the maximum friction, mu r. And the particle P, of course vertically it is acting down like this, the weight, which is the force. All the questions which are on ramp, we resolve them horizontally and perpendicular to the ramp. So that's why this part will be mg cos alpha and this will be mg sin alpha. You are aware of it. This is the basic information about it. Q, because it is thrown up with the velocity u, initial velocity is called u, 10 meter per second. So maximum friction will be acting downward because friction is acting opposite to the motion. So once you have drawn all this, then you will not make mistake in the application of the Newton's law, where mostly students make mistake. So first part of the question is asking to show that the acceleration of Q up the plane is minus 11.6. So according to the Newton's second law, F is equals to ma and F is representing resultant force. So let's keep the focus here on Q. Upward there is no force, it's 0. Downward it is mu r and it is the weight 2 mg sin alpha, right? So upward force minus downward force we are doing here. I'm calling this up and I'm calling this down, right? Upward minus downward along the ramp I'm talking about. So 0 minus mu r minus 2 mg sin alpha. Now you have to calculate what? R. R is perpendicular to the plane. So because there is no movement happening perpendicular to the plane, that's why R is equals to 2 mg cos alpha. So in place of R, I will write mg cos alpha. Sorry, it is 2 mg cos alpha, right? It will be 2 mg cos alpha. So after that, I have not solved. I said I will just calculate here because there is one mistake which mostly students make. So what is that? Is m, if you see, is present in all three terms. This term, sorry, in this term, in this term and in this term. So I can cancel out m, right? Or if you want to show one step, you can 2 mg what is the value of cos alpha? cos alpha is 0.6. We have seen it here, right? So it will be minus 0.6 times 2 mg (0.6). Now why is it 2 times 0.6? Because the coefficient for friction is also 0.6. You can see here in the question, and at the same time cos alpha is also 0.6, right? So now minus, it will be 1.6 mg is equals to 2 ma. So now m can be cancelled out if you can take a common factor out, and g is always taken as 10 in m1. We don't take it 9.8 like in physics. So that will give you a is equals to, please pick up the calculator, minus 11.6 meter per second square. Okay, so now we have proven that acceleration is minus 11.6 meter per second square. Second part of the question, find the time for which the particles are in motion before they collide. Now this is something very tricky. There are different situations, so we have to ensure which one will be applicable. What do I mean by that? When P is coming down and Q is going up, we have to see first of all, either they collide first or Q reaches to the point of stationary instantaneously at rest and start moving back, and then P follows it and hit it. See, so we have to check here, what is the acceleration of P first? So now, again using the Newton's second law of motion, the way I have explained it to you, for Q, the downward force along the ramp, of P is mg sine alpha, and upward along the ramp is mu r, right? So that's why I've written mg sine alpha minus mu r, because the motion is happening in the downward. So this is more than this, is equals to ma. And then you will substitute the values and then solve it. Again, I will cancel out m here, and cos alpha is what? This is minus 6, cos alpha is 0.6 is equals to a, and this is 8. So a is equals to 4.4. You can also take the calculator. So I found here the acceleration of P is 4.4. Now remember it because it will be applied. Okay. Now what else you have to find out? Now we have to find out the distance covered by P and Q. Yes or no? And then we have to see if their distances they covered is equal to 6.4. It means they are hitting at that time. So we need to check if P and Q collide before Q comes to instantaneously at rest and start moving down. So we will cover their distances now. Let's see. But to find the distance, I need to know the time taken by Q to come to rest. So suppose it has come to rest here. So what we will use? Constant acceleration formula. Final velocity is 0, u is 10, and acceleration is minus 11.6 we have found in part 1. So this is the time Q will take to go from here till here, if we are considering it is stopping here, right? Now we will see within this time what is the distance covered by Q and P. So we are using the constant acceleration formula, ut plus half at square. For P first, P was initially at rest, so u is equals to 0. We have calculated the acceleration of P 4.4, and time we have just calculated here. So P will cover 1.635 distance and Q will cover 4.31 distance. Q was initially thrown up with the velocity of 10 meter per second. Time we are taking the same, right? And acceleration of Q we have just calculated. So now we will add up these two distances and we will see is it equals to 6.4 or not, right? So when we add it up, the distance is 5.945. It means when Q came from here, it stopped. By that time, P was somewhere here. So now Q will start moving down and P will follow it and then hit it. Because question is saying, find the time for which the particles are in motion before they collide. Right? So now we are clear about it Okay, this is the situation. So now it means they have to cover distance 0.455 to hit. Sorry, the distance between them at this instant is 0.455. Is it clear now? So now what we will do, what equation comes in your mind to find out the time? We have already taken time t, so we are giving it a different name, time 2 now. So now we will say, okay, let's see, the distance covered by P is, I have mentioned here in green line here, the distance covered by P here, suppose they are colliding here, Q has reached here when it was coming back. So SP minus SQ is equals to 0.455, agree? So from this situation, we have made the equation that this is the time taken when they hit the ball. I mean, the P hit the Q. One time we have already calculated, which is 0.866 or 86207. Now we have to calculate this time also, and then we will add up two timings. That is the total time taken by the particles to collide. Now, do you know all these information to put in here? I mean, UQ you know is 0, but you don't know acceleration. When particle Q was going down, what was the acceleration? You don't know. For P, you know everything. Sorry, its velocity you don't know. At this point, what is the velocity of P? You don't know. So you have to find that out, because now we are talking about with respect to this situation. Okay. So let's calculate the velocity of P at this point, because from here it is coming all the way here. For Q, when it is coming from here, we know its initial velocity is 0. We will only calculate its acceleration so that we can put it here. So we know acceleration is velocity divided by time, and particle Q has taken time 0.86207 with the acceleration 4.4. We have all calculated in the above parts. So the velocity of P at this instant is 3.793. 3.793, right? And for Q, we will calculate the acceleration now, right? So that we can substitute it in this formula at this place. Then we will have everything to substitute here. Velocity we have gotten, acceleration of P we already have, U acceleration we know is 0, A we have to calculate. So let's calculate it here using the Newton's second law of motion again, because Q is going down now. So this is the force due to weight, and the upward force is maximum frictional force. So just substitute the values and get the acceleration. It is also 4.4, right? So now in this formula, I will substitute all the values which I have to get the time taken when P and Q were at 0.455 meter away and they took time to hit each other again. This is what I'm doing now. So after substituting the values, you can see here, this is the velocity we have calculated. A we already had, Q was at 0, and an acceleration at the time is 4.4. So now you got here time 0.120. This is the time of this second half when they were 0.455 meter away, and the other time we have already calculated from where the Q started moving down. So if you add up the two timings, your answer is 0.982. So this was a tricky part. It has a lot of logics, I would say, you have to consider logically, and then you will be able to solve it. Last part of the question is, after the collision, the particle coalesce on impact. So now they are moving together. We have to find the speed of the combined particle. So this reminds us the application of which concept? Momentum, right? So before collision, we have to find out the velocities now, because we don't have the velocity. When they were colliding, at that point, what is the velocity of P and Q? We don't know. So we have to calculate it. Time we know is 0.98203 taken by P. So using the constant acceleration formula, V is equals to U plus AT, we can calculate it. Okay. So now, I hope you will not get confused here why the time of P is 0.98203, which was the total time, because you see on the ramp P was coming all the way from here till here where the collision happened, but for Q it went here and then came. So for Q we are taking this time, and for P we are taking this time. For the velocity of Q, U was 0 here and it was also 0 here. So this is how we have substituted the values and found the velocities. So we know the final velocity of P and Q at the time they were colliding. Now we will apply law of momentum, law of conservation of linear momentum, and we have seen the formula and substitution multiple times. So just substitute it and get the answer, which is 1.793 meter per second. So you can scan QR codes to get the more understanding of momentum if you are not sure. Thank you very much for watching. Please press like and subscribe button. Your comments also encourage